Right, today I'm going to be showing you the Triumph Street 77765 RS, and then after that the R. It's a beautiful bike, 6-speed transmission, 3-cylinder engine, 4 valves per cylinder, 765 cc's, makes 121 horsepower at 11,700 RPM and 56.8 foot-pounds of torque at 10,800 RPM. It's a 3-into-1 exhaust, and it's Öhlins suspension at the rear, which I showed you a moment ago. Brembo brakes at the front and the rear. 41mm Showa upside down forks at the front. Very smooth, much smoother, and it's not quite as characterful, shall I say, as my MT-07. I say this is one of the nicest bikes I've ever ridden. Now this is the 765R. It's a slightly less premium version. There was also an S. I don't think they're offering that anymore. So maybe I'll just talk about some differences between this and the RS that I rode before. So the first difference to point out between this R version and the RS that I rode before is the horsepower. The engine's basically the same 3-cylinder 765cc engine, but in the R it makes 5 horsepower less at 116 horsepower at 12,000 RPM, which is actually 300 RPM higher than on the RS. And the peak torque is actually a little lower down the rev range, but it's just exactly the same amount, so it's 56.8 pounds of torque at 9,400 RPM. So the frame is the same, suspension is similar but not exactly the same. So on the RS it comes with, at the front, a 41mm Showa upside down fork, big piston fork, adjustable for compression and rebound damping and preload. It's 4.5 inches of suspension travel, or 115mm, and the R version, this bike I'm on now, has exactly the same front suspension. The rear shock is different. So on the RS there's an Öhlins STX40 piggyback reservoir monoshock. It is fully adjustable for spring, preload, compression, damping, and rebound. The shock on this R is different. It has a Showa, exactly the same adjustability. It's fully adjustable. It's a piggyback reservoir, and the same suspension travel as well, 5.1 inches. So it's a less premium shock, but offers all the same adjustability.
Sorry guys. Come on.
The bike was actually running when I got on it. It was started by somebody at the shop, and it never occurred to me to ask them how to start it. And the switchgear is nothing like my Yamaha or any other bike I've ridden before, so I'm just going to have to figure out how the hell to start it. I had a similar problem when I took a Ducati 959 out for a ride. Not this one, not that one. This is embarrassing.
fuck do I start it?
Plus years of riding motorcycles, that's not the kind of mistake I should be making. Put it down to old age. Go out on the highway now and give it a good run. Remember where I left off. We talked about the brakes, we talked about the suspension. Talk about the brakes, just in case. Yeah, so the front brake on the RS, they had two 310mm floating discs, Brembo M50 monoblock calipers, radial calipers, 4 pistons each, and the Showa, the Brembo M4.32 on this R model. So pretty much the same specifications. The rear brake on the RS was a 220mm fixed disc with Brembo single piston sliding caliper, and on this bike it's the same brake. Wheels were the same. I can't remember if I mentioned the wheelbase, but the wheelbase on the RS was 1410mm or 55.5 inches, while on the R the wheelbase is 1405mm or 55.3 inches, so just a little bit shorter. The rake and trail are different as well. On the RS the rake was 23.9 degrees compared to 23.5 degrees on this R model. The trail was 100mm on the RS, or 3.9 inches, compared to 98.3mm on this R, or 100mm. Sorry. Some other differences, not all of which I'm going to appreciate here, but the seat height was the same, 32.4 inches or 825mm. The dry weight on these bikes is about 5 pounds different. It was 365 pounds or 165.5 kilograms for the RS. And this R version is 370 pounds or 168 kilograms. Fuel capacity is the same, 17.4 liters or 3.8 gallons, or if you're an American, 4.6 US gallons. The RS had 5 riding modes, which were road, rain, sport, rider programmable, and track. The R version I'm riding now is exactly the same, except it does not have the track mode. I was able to find some performance stats for the RS. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.10 seconds, or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.8 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour in 6.10 seconds, and 0 to 200 kilometers an hour in 9.1 seconds. Top speed was 150.4 miles per hour. I haven't found stats yet for the R, but I would not expect it to be too much different. overall observations on the bikes, both of them. I like both of them. They are, if I were to make a list of the top, say, top 5 bikes I've ridden, I think both the RS and the R would be in that list. Here, almost missed my exit. Yeah, they're very smooth. They've got plenty of mid-range, and they've got top end. It's one big difference compared to my MT-07. My MT-07 has a lot of low-end torque and horsepower and mid-range, but it has pretty much nothing on top. So this is a little bit different. These bikes have a ride-by-wire throttle. Not many bikes I've ridden have had that. I think the Ducatis, I've ridden several Ducatis, and I think they may have had ride-by-wire throttles. But personally, I prefer cable-actuated throttles. On my MT-07, you just feel much more connected. The throttle delivery on the MT-07, it's not as smooth and as seamless. This is not by a long shot, you know, it's very sort of raucous and raw. But it's sort of instant, immediate, and maybe a little bit more aggressive. I'd like to tell you something about the handling on these bikes and the differences between the RS and the R. Don't mind me here. But as the highway has been mostly quite straight, no particularly twisty roads in this area, I really won't be able to explore them. The differences in the handling. Highway, they're both very stable and game very smooth, very controlled. I think I'll run out of things to say about the performance and the specifications on these bikes, so maybe now I'll just talk a little bit about the ergonomics and aesthetic, I guess, value and styling. Maybe I'll reverse that. So I really like the look of both the RS and the R. I mean, they're basically the same bike. Aside from the paint job, there isn't really much difference in appearance, so treat the comments on one as the same for both bikes. I really like the look. I like the fuel tank, which is an actual fuel tank, I believe, not just a plastic cover on top of the fuel tank that I have on my Yamahas. The paint and the finish on these bikes are both really nice. They are they're a world above what I'm used to on my Yamahas. I've been riding Yamaha motorcycles most of my life. I've actually owned more than 14 motorcycles. I've ridden well over 14. I don't really remember everything I've ridden. So I do have quite a bit of experience with different brands, different levels of fit and finish, but these Triumphs, in fact I've ridden several other Triumphs as well, they always impress me. Their level of quality I get is far and away better than what I'm used to on my Yamahas and most of the Japanese motorcycles, with the possible exception of Hondas, which always seem to have a higher level of fit and finish. Styling of the bike anyway, I really like everything about it, with the sole exception of the headlight. I'm old, I guess I'm old-fashioned. I would just love it if they just had a single round headlight. As they do have twin headlights, I would prefer to have a half fairing covering them. Not this little, I don't know what to call this. We'll call it a windshield. It's not really a windshield. This little fairing that they have above the headlights, it just looks weird. So, if you're going to go the twin headlight route, please just give me a half fairing. Anyway, aside from that, let's get back to the ergonomics. So it's a comfortable bike. I'm about 5'10", maybe a little bit over that. I weigh approximately 175 pounds, going up and down lately. And I find the bike very comfortable. It's not cramped at all. Good reach. Bars. It's a nice, relatively flat handlebar. It's not too laid back and it's not too sporty. It's fairly comfortable. There's no strain on my knees or my ankles or joints. I'd say it feels maybe a little bit more comfortable than my Yamaha MT-07. Hope I'm not shaking you guys too much. Right, at this point, I think I've pretty much run out of things to say, so I'm just taking the bike back to the shop. So I will say thank you all for watching my video. I realize the quality is not perfect and leaves something to be desired, but although I've had my YouTube channel for a while, I've not really been putting out many videos, as you can see. So I will be doing more longer format videos, and hopefully the quality will improve as I gain more experience at actually producing these. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll be back. It would be really nice to subscribe. I'll try and earn it. You enjoy your day.